Hello and welcome again in Coffee with Cruz, our weekly show every Thursday at 6 p.m. London time, when we help small and medium business owners to grow their audience and connect through social media. Today's subject is going to be step-by-step guide to video production to help you create maybe your first or maybe better create your next videos. So stay tuned. So we are back. Actually, I'm back. And this time again, I have coffee. And this time again, I have a guest. Who is my guest?
Hello, it's James.
Hello, James Tucker. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm okay. What are you doing drinking coffee at this time of the day?
I'm drinking half calf.
Oh, sorry. So how's your day been?
My day has been very, very, very adventurous. So before we tell you what we promised some of you to tell you, let us tell you how our day started. Well, first of all, yesterday we got a hole being dug to our apartment, so we were fighting with that because construction dig a hole in our apartment. Then we were stuck in the Spanish paperwork, and then actually, let us show you. This is our subject today, but before we get to the subject, let's show you what happened. James, do you want to tell the story or should I?
Well, obviously we've moved to a bigger, the capital city for Santa Cruz here in Tenerife. And yes, we're getting used to city life here. It's very different from resort, and it's kind of what you would expect in other cities in terms of what they have to offer. And one of those things that they have to offer is the new things that you can find around the world in major cities is the kind of car bike sharing scheme. So we registered for Love Sharing Canaries, which you find dotted around the city. They're 100% electric, and yeah, you know, as you do with technology today, you sign up with an app, find your bike, and off you go. So we registered last night, took our first bike to do to do less than a 15-minute journey. Don't forget, this was our first time on an electric bike, and I got pulled by the police within 2
Very
minutes.
important, because that picture is very misleading. I was not driving the scooter.
It was me. Yeah, it was actually me who caused the offence, but a very, very strange roundabout rule. Someone's got to tell me that if there's anybody here, just tell me what the rules are for going around a roundabout in Spain.
Oh, because please!
I did exactly what every other British person would do for entering and exiting the roundabout, and I got caught by the police for an offence. And
I just want to let you all know that this is something completely different. I lived in Poland, Germany, Sweden, now Spain. And rules on roundabouts sometimes are different in different countries. But what I think is the rule here is that you never use the inside lane because it's for emergencies. So I don't know what's the point of roundabout, that if you're, even when you're going all the way around, you're using only your right lane. But we didn't get fined, thankfully. They were merciful.
Yeah, thankfully. Yeah. So that was a problem. Basically, I was coming off the roundabout at the second exit, took the inside lane, and quite quickly, 2 police cars. It looked like, you won't remember this again, it looked like, if you remember an 80s American police show called Chips, it just reminded me of that, because the police guys were dressed up just like the Chips guys of the American show back in the 80s.
Yeah, because it's basically,
to be fair.
Yeah, very friendly. Yeah. It just looked like also we were gonna turn left, but we went straight, so it looked like we just crossed the roundabout, which that was not the purpose. We were just going straight, so we went from right lane, inside lane, and out. But you know, you can't use one of the lanes on roundabout in Spain or in Canaries. I don't know.
Thankfully, I just got a warning, just to keep your eyes on the rules.
Open.
And
that was a bit stressful, because it was already a whole procedure to even getting the bike and knowing how to start it, and it's electric, so it doesn't make any sound. It's like, is it working? Is it driving now? Is it not? So very, very interesting situation. But how about we talk about videos then?
Yeah, go on.
If you are based in Spain, yes, please make sure that you let us know how to use roundabouts, because we think it's just always on the right, but you know, you never know here. But let's get to our subject. So what we're going to be focusing on today, what I really wanted to do, I was talking to a few of our clients and so on, with our audience, and one thing came across, that making a video is still quite an intense process, and still people don't know how to start with it, or they already are doing it, but they don't know how to make it more efficient. Yeah, efficient is the word. I don't know. I'm losing words. I need to chug my coffee.
Don't worry.
So
it's
before...
Yeah. Sorry, go on. You carry on, Agata.
Yeah, sorry. So first thing is going to be research and plan. So we always say it, and we always constantly repeat it, that you should start with end in mind. So first step, what you should do is find out what your audience needs. And you can do it in a few ways. Like point number 1, I have here to identify the problem you will talk about. So how you can do that? You can, for example, when you have one-on-one contact with your clients, and they ask you a question, like, how do you do this? How do you do that? Always write down those questions, because this is the video idea, because this is a genuine question from your client that they had and didn't know how to do. Second thing, you should think about your target audience. You're talking about identifying still. You can, if you're using Instagram or Facebook stories as well, you can use stickers, ask people to ask you questions, or let for them to let you know what kind of problems do they have with social media. Also, check other posts. Just you have to be aware what is happening in your niche. So if you're, for example, on Instagram or on Facebook or whichever platform, and you're interacting with people in your niche, you will see the questions are popping up in the comments, or maybe there's a specific theme of posts that is popping up. So it means that people are actually very interested in that subject. So this is also the way you can find out and identify the problem that is happening. Once you are, of course, fluent in your niche, if you can say that, it's going to be very easy to do. Then you should think about your target audience. So think who you're answering, because sometimes, for example, with your post or your video, maybe you're addressing your peers. Maybe there is some new feature that came out, like in our example, if we're doing social media marketing, we might be discussing on the video the new feature that came out on one of the platforms, and we can maybe discuss how to use it to benefit not only our clients but also other social media managers. But certain posts might be directed directly on to someone who, for example, has a small business, so it's going to be something a little bit more basic. So also, before you start that video, think who is your target audience and what message you want to get across. Are you solving this problem? Are you just making them think about maybe something they did wrong in the past? So start with the end in mind. Another point is researching the subject and tags. So you know what problems your video is going to answer, but also find the topic itself. And of course, if your video is going to be on YouTube, it will require already the keyword research, because you should do it before you press record. You want to know if the video that you maybe already came up with, or the problem that you want to address, is it even searchable, and if people are searching for it. So you're going to think about the topic and the tags as well, whether it's going to serve a specific audience, and think about the concept of how more overall the video is going to look like. Okay, this time I'm going to go and I'm going to do super active video outside, or I'm going to do sit down video, or maybe I'm going to do live. So think about whether it's an action video, short, long, etc. But I'm going to go with it in a minute.
And just to cover on just to cover on some of those points that you just mentioned, Agatha. The very first one really is around. Everyone, whether it's video or whether it's other pieces of content, people tend to struggle with content ideas, and Agatha touched on it right at the very beginning of this particular slide, which was to do with when people ask you questions. When people ask you questions, make sure you make either a mental note of it, which is probably not a good idea, but write it down somewhere. Write it down in on your iPhone, or you shouldn't say iPhones all the time, or your other smartphone applications. Make sure you put the questions down somewhere where you can go back to it at a later date, because each question you're asked is basically content. So it's content that you can quite easily turn into video, quite easily. But not just video, but other content ideas as well. And also just touching on the research for your subject and for your tags as well. There is a number of options to find out what people are actually searching for in terms of, say, video. And again, other pieces of content. Ask the Public is a great site that you can go to for doing keyword research to see what people are searching for on Google. There's other add-ons as well, especially if you're tailoring your video towards the YouTube platforms, where you can use third-party tools like vidIQ and TubeBuddy.
And Uber Suggest.
And Uber Suggest as well. These are topics really that we need to delve into in their own right. But if you just have a quick search for those, they're absolutely super great tools to use to find out what people are searching for. Because the main thing is you want to be creating videos that people want to see. So don't sort of narrow yourself out of the market. So search for those. Exactly,
and this is going to give you, if I can say, the most authentic and genuine content, because you already know that you have people asking for it, and it can be in every niche. It can be, what type of paint should I use on my terrace? And it can be something about social media. It can be, how do I do my winged eyeliner? It can be whatever. You are the expert in your field. So for sure, you have the answers for many questions. Now, second point is going to be writing a script. Now, first thing that you should do is you should write down what is going to be the content of your video. Now, there are a few things that you should probably include in that. First, make sure that the video will fit into the target time, and think more or less how long you want the video to be. Of course, when it's 12 minutes and it was supposed to be 13 or the other way around, it doesn't really matter. But with specific platforms, you might be restricted, like on IGTV, to 15 minutes if you're not a big creator, or maybe you just want to do something super short and snappy for Facebook, 2-3 minutes and so on. So make sure that it fits in the target time, and then you plan the time for the platform that you're thinking about, making the video for. Think about changes in camera angles and background, because again, very often the thing that happens the most is that we don't research before we start. We sit in front of camera and we blank, or we record the video, something goes wrong, and we realize in the editing process that it's absolutely shocking and our background was dark, or we had I had to do a little check today, because even though you can see into my apartment, I really didn't want to have bottles and glasses and all sorts of stuff. So check your background as well, and prepare bullet points on your subject. So we talked about it before with confidence on camera as well, that you really shouldn't read the whole script. So what you should try and do is write down the bullet points, have it in front of you. It's not a problem to make a little pause and maybe look down on your notes, but then remember to look back up before you start speaking again, and try going off these bullet points. While you research your subject and when you write your script as well, you will probably already know your subject good enough that you will be able to talk about it enough time, because let's be honest, also you are the expert in the field most likely, so you know what to talk about. So get your bullet points in front of you, make sure that you know about camera angles, and yeah, make sure that you just go off it. James, anything to add? Did you ever have a situation where you forgot on any of those points?
I forget all the time. It's my age. I need notes on everything. Absolutely notes on everything. So, but no, it's good advice. I mean, I guess it depends on kind of what type of video you're doing as well. But generally speaking, I think if you're doing a video for social media, then really you probably don't really want to learn, a script word for word. Yeah, get a script down. We've mentioned this before, but get a script down. Yeah, learn it. But then throw the script away, or then once the camera starts to record, speak from the heart. And of course, when you do, this isn't really, subjects about a live process, but, live again, if you're going down the live route, it becomes quite difficult really to have, word for word written scripts to read off. So just make sure, it's, especially with social media, people now want to see genuine people and don't want to make it look as though it's kind of overly produced. But there may be times where you might need to have a little bit more of a professionalised video where you would need a script. And of course, there is plenty, if you're going down that route and you're not comfortable remembering every single word, then there is applications on smartphones that you can download that act as a teleprompter. So there is tools out there that can assist you with it. But my main thing is as long as it doesn't need to be super professional, just show yourself. But make sure you just know the subjects that you're talking about.
Exactly. And most of us usually do. And one thing I also want to say, because already we are at the point when it sounds like, oh my God, so I already am going to spend 4 hours before I even press record. Take under consideration that the more you do that, the shorter the process is going to be, because your brain is going to adapt to it like everybody. Like, think about actors who have 2-3 hour plays to do. You're just going to become a better speaker. So when you know your subject, you're not going to stumble upon words as much. Yes, you might still forget your language, or sometimes for me, when I'm tired, I mix languages for some reason. And of course, I mix dialects, so that's always great. But that's okay. You're going to become a better speaker. Practice. Yes, and by the way, sorry to make a pause on that note, because I have just received a private message from my sister just to break apart our life. I hope she's watching us. She just asked me why I'm saying bo instead of but. And I would like to publicly address that issue, ponieważ, there we go with mixing languages, because James is Mancunian, and even though I don't speak Mancunian, there are several words from Manchester that I'm picking up, and the most prominent is bo. And this has been noted by your mom, by other members of your family, and now members of my family as well. So yes, I have one Northern English word in my dictionary.
Yeah.
Bo. Going back to the subject.
We'll get you speaking the Queen's English soon.
If you guys notice, like, please do. Please feel free to have a laugh about my accent, because sometimes I might come up with something very British, and a minute later I'm going to be talking American. So let me know. Let's have a laugh. We're here to show our personality. One of my personalities is the fact that I speak all the dialects at once. But let's get back to point number 3, which is pre-production planning. So what you're gonna do? Oh, yeah, there we go. We have a fan of my accent. Perfect. This is James's mom that loves my bo as well. So pre-production planning. So first is going to be check the location, whether it is your room or whether it's going to be somewhere outside. Make sure that there is nothing crazy and loud going on. Prepare the equipment, and I mean, first of all, think whatever you need to pack if you're going on location, or if everything is ready. Is your SD card working properly, because they break all the time? Is your camera charged? Do you have your lens? Do you have a battery for your little boya microphone, maybe? Think about that, because especially if you're doing batch recording and you're going to plan to record 5 videos and all of a sudden you don't have battery there, that is a half of the day gone. Another plan time of the shoot ahead. So you block the time. This is again basics of plan management, time management 101, blocking time for certain things. So plan the time of the shoot, especially if you're going to be batch recording, which we always recommend, and make a list actually of those things that we're talking about and the things that you might need. So it might be that you're going to be going on location when it's sunny and you have full makeup and you need to take your lipstick with you, or maybe you're going to need a parasol because it's sunny. So make sure that you do the list, you keep the list, because that is the thing you will do, and it will happen that you're going to go to location or you're going to start recording and you're not going to have battery, you're not going to have something, or something is not going to work. So try to prepare it as much as you can. Yes. Anything to add there, James? No,
as I always was told at Scouts. Do you know what the motto was at Scouts? The British Scouts we're talking about, of course. What was the motto? Does anyone know? It was be prepared.
Be prepared. I thought that there's going to something more aggressive come after that. Be prepared, or
no, just be prepared. Yeah,
see, you should always be.
Hey, I learned something.
Very good. I was in Scouts as well, but I can't even remember. Anyway, let's go to shooting the video. So you can see that this is point number 4. Sorry. We're going to say something now. Let's go to point number 4, which is shooting the actual video. So you can see that there are already 3 points before we even start shooting. But when you shoot, make sure that you include all the planned parts. Make sure, very important, you should write it somewhere with big letters. Make a thumbnail picture. If you see thumbnails on YouTube, Instagram, wherever, all social media platforms like faces in their thumbnails. So what you should do, and especially for girls, I cannot even emphasize it enough, to do the picture on the day of the shoot. So let's say you're gonna have, you see us doing it all the time. We can just do typical pointing on something. You can do thumbs up and stuff like that. But because, for example, for me, I have different lipstick every time, I have different hairstyle every time, and I look different every time. I want my thumbnail to look like I looked in the video. It's a little bit easier for James. He just has to change the t-shirt. But it's good to have a photo that looks like you will look in the video. So make a note of England rugby, there we go. But make a note to make a thumbnail photo, and as well, as I said before, batch record. So batch record, of course, is going to mean that you're going to batch research the tags and keywords and titles and all of that. But trust me, there is certain amount of time for even setting up your light, for checking up your microphone, for doing short clip to see if the microphone is surely recording, maybe checking the light, especially if you're using natural light, and so on. So that takes time. So if you're going to do that whole setup, you might as well already have 3 videos out of it. You can decide, depending on your niche, if you think that it's going to look a little bit, I don't know, you want to look different in every video, change your hairstyle in between, change your lipstick, change your t-shirt, whatever you want, but try to batch record at least a few weeks ahead. This is the most challenging thing on social media overall, and this is consistency. So if you have, something's happening outside. If you have...
the police are after you again.
The police? Maybe. Yeah, so they're chasing someone on the roundabout. What was I saying? That planning content ahead is usually the biggest challenge. Most of our clients and people who follow us on social media say it very often, that consistency is very difficult because they think that you're going to have to wake up every day and make a post every day. But that's the whole point of batch preparing and batch recording. There's so many things, especially if you're a business owner, that might go wrong or might just need your extra attention, that you should be able to focus on that. Allocate the time to create your content ahead, schedule it ahead so it's automated. You don't have to worry about it for at least 2 weeks, month, whatever you are able to do. And that's going to not only save you time on setting up every time and then maybe editing every time and charging a battery every time, but it would also give you a peace of mind that you have content going out every week. And this is usually a huge challenge, the consistency on social media, especially in creating videos.
No, it is actually. It's a good, just thinking back about it, when we first started off doing video, it used to be that we would record a video, just one particular topic for a video every week. And Agata's just pointed out now, that batch recording really is the best way to go forward, especially if you've got a setup, because the production of video is a laborious and time-consuming task. So if you've got the setup already done, it's already been set up for you, you might as well just, depending on what the content is, you might as well just batch record 3, 4, 5 pieces of content. And then depending on what your frequency is, when you release video onto social media, you've got it there ready for maybe a few days in advance, or a few weeks at least. So it kind of really cuts out a big, massive headache, really. And it's something that, I'll be honest with you, I didn't particularly enjoy doing video recording for one particular topic every single week, but that's how we started. Whereas now, don't confuse yourself with the live setup. We're talking about produced video. So a lot of the videos that you'll see, and we're not talking about super long videos here. We're only talking about video durations of something between 3 and 5 minutes long, and we'll shoot quite a lot of those videos in one session. And when I say we shoot those videos in one session, we'll shoot it within an hour or 2 hours space, because we've got the setup already. We've got the camera set up, we've got the lighting set up, and we'll do 5 pieces of content within that hour or 2 hour space. But it gives us that content for days and weeks ahead. So it makes it a lot more easy to produce.
Yeah. For me, for example,
batch record. Just think in your head. But if I'm gonna record video that's the opportunity to do batch recording.
Yeah, of course, think about your own capacity, because as we said, you're going to get better with it when you do it after a while. Because, for example, for me, I have also my own YouTube channel, the health YouTube channel. So I'm recording 4 or 5 videos in a row, and that's my capacity. If you have only one channel, 4 or 5, especially if they're short, should be okay to do. But I can't possibly do 10 because I just cannot research and do it. But for some people,
I'm talking about
at least doing 2, but at least doing 2 to have 2 weeks ahead is going to be a good start. If you can work up to 4, that's going to be fantastic, because that's your month done. And you should at least probably put the video every month on your social media, if you want to even include video in your strategy, which we highly recommend for the reasons that we spoke about many times. But let's get to a little bit more technical stuff, and this is editing. We are not going to be going in depth with editing, and of course, for the beginners, you don't have to do God knows what with your videos. But when you do edit, first of all, of course, you're going to edit footage. And what do I mean by that? You're going to cut out your moments when you just stumbled over some words, for example. Or you're going to cut the beginning when you're turning the camera on and switching it off at the end. But then you're going to add music, and music makes such a huge difference for the video. You can approach music from many different angles. This is another thing that we could do a live about. So let us know if you would like to hear about music in videos. James is our music specialist, so he could give you a few tips. But you can go with a branded music, or let's say repeat the music. There's always going to be associated with your brand, or you could just go with the vibe of the video. It's your choice. Now I keep on having in my head, because we started watching Peaky Blinders, and in Peaky Blinders they have this one song that is just fantastic, and they always they replay it, and they replay it well on every intro, clearly, but it is part of the brand of the series. So music is very important. Then you can add B-roll, whether it is slides, whether it is some extra footage, whether it is I don't know, any extra graphics or anything like that. Then you're gonna export the video, of course. So you should think about what size you're gonna be resizing or exporting video in. Because of course IGTV is going to be completely different than your YouTube, your Facebook, and so on. And I usually have, again, because I think about it prior now, I don't have to go back to the project and export separately. I already have the system where I export for Facebook and YouTube and IGTV in the same run. I just have to have a few extra graphics that I have to plan ahead before as well. And then create a thumbnail. Again, think about what thumbnail you're going to need for which platform, whether it is YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or again, IGTV, completely different size. So just batch do it all. Make sure that your video is completely ready to roll. And that's pretty much it for the editing portion.
From an editing point of view, I mean, we've said this before in probably, well, certainly in non-video content. We've said it a number of times. Kind of really sort of in the last 6 months, if you really want to speed up your content creation, especially if it's graphics or if it is video as well. And I'm not plugging this in any way, but I'm promising you the speed of creation is absolutely awesome, and that is definitely take a look at Canva. Because
Canva is my love.
It will just give you so much time back, and it's super easy. You don't need, you might need an eye for design. I'll give you an eye design and for graphics, but it's super quick at just creating the graphic process. And one thing that it'll be very good at is thumbnails, because thumbnails, especially if you want to use yourself as that kind of presentation hook. So when you view videos on YouTube or Facebook, the way it's presented to you is in a still thumbnail graphical view. Yeah, and the sort of common practice is to have a title hook to pull you in, but usually you'll have something visual. So usually that visual is a person, because there's a psychology behind it. So what I'm saying is we're in Canva. Canva's super great at doing that combination of graphics, titles, and using that element of yourself to make you really pop, make your image really stand out.
And if I can add one thing to it as well, if you do, for example, you start with making your thumbnail for landscape video, so for YouTube or Facebook, for example, the most popular, you can, with 2 clicks, resize it for IGTV, for example. So Canva has an option where it takes your graphics and it resizes it to a different one. Again, you don't have to write what pixels they are. You just click resize to Instagram story, because that's the size for IGTV cover. You're going to have to adjust it a little bit and maybe add some guidelines to make sure that it fits into the square, even though now Instagram app allows you to slide it up and down, which is very, very new, but only if you upload it natively through the app, but that's a different story. But yeah, you can very easily resize the thumbnail that you have already made, because, for example, if you would have been doing it in Photoshop, first you spend time on your landscape thumbnail, then you have to create a new project. You have to remember what are the pixels, with the correct size, and you would have to copy the layers yourself. Canva does it for you, super quick, super easy. Check the link always in our bio on our Instagram for the link to Canva. And you can use free version, but the Pro is better. And Pro also has 30-day trial, so free trial. So you can absolutely do that. And we just say it because literally it took me, 2 days to create month of content, daily content. Now it takes me 1. So it's literally 50% off time.
Yeah, it's super great. And even if you just try out the free trial, I promise you'll switch on to the monthly subscription. I promise you will.
Because it's also so affordable in comparison to Photoshop. Like, especially if you are using something else than Adobe Premiere Pro for editing. You have separate software and you just have Adobe package for Photoshop. Don't get me wrong, Photoshop is fantastic, and you will, if you are actually properly doing it, you will find a use for Photoshop. However, Canva is much more affordable, and if you're looking for something that is just going to make graphics, the difference between 12 and 60 euros, let's say, it's big. Of course, in 60 euros, you get all the package for Adobe, but at the moment it's 60. When you're watching it from the future, it might be a different price. But let's go back to our point number 6. We're going to have 7 points today, so it's one but less. So next one is going to be distribute and optimize. So then you're going to add your title. And again, you researched it before. Maybe you want to polish it a little bit. Maybe you're publishing it 3 weeks later and, a little different phrase is more popular on Uber Suggest, Google search, YouTube search, whatever. You're going to write a description. You can write a description before as well, but usually people do it after because maybe they want to say something that they emphasized extra in the video, for example. You're going to, especially, another thing is going to be captions and chapters. Now, chapters are only YouTube, because now on YouTube, you can actually divide the video to chapters when people, when they have a little time, what is it called? Timeline, I don't know, on the bottom. They can see a little description for them to jump through the chapters. You know what I mean. I'm sure you've seen it. You're going to do the captions. Doing the captions is super important because something crazy, 85 or 95% people, now I'm blank, are watching muted videos, right? So when you sit in the bus and you don't have your headphones in, you probably are scrolling and you're watching with captions. So make sure you do that. Facebook now is fantastic with auto-generated captions. YouTube is great. YouTube probably is even better. Although I love this, you might be watching on Facebook now with auto captions. Are really good. I think they're better with my English than with James's English, funny enough. I don't know why. Maybe because, I don't know, sometimes they think I'm Dutch though, so then you have to do your subtitles. I don't know why YouTube once in a while just does automatic Dutch subtitles on me. Maybe someone can tell me why. And also, you're going to tag your video correctly. So whether it is IGTV with hashtags or whether it is YouTube with keywords, really. Yeah, and captions we touched on very many times. Yeah.
I mean, this is really that's really all of it's a key important part, but that is because we always refer to that. I don't know if you had that. Just go back to the screen a little bit.
Yes, yes. It says the CEO. Right on.
Yes.
No, I'm
It
jumping.
has got it. Sorry, I didn't see that, Agatha. Apologies. But yeah, this is really important for your SEO, so your search engine optimization. So what you have here is really important because here you go. You've made an absolutely fantastic video, but at the end of the day, you want that video to be searchable. So this really is absolutely key. But also, it goes back to the very first bit, Agatha, which is your first bit in terms of your research. So where we mentioned tools such as Ask the Public or vidIQ or TubeBuddy, those tools, and there's more, Ubersuggest being another one, is find out what people are searching for. Yeah, find out what they're searching for and make your content around those high searchable content topics. And obviously include those in your title, include them in your description, and your tags. I know YouTube is probably a little bit more led towards tagging. I know Facebook does do it, but it is, from what we see of it, it's more heavily used within the YouTube environment. Use those tools, and those tools will really help you through the process of getting your video kicked off to the point where you get down to your search engine optimization. Don't miss that one out because you want your video to be searchable.
Yeah, and of course on Instagram, the videos and tagging is also super important. But it's almost like if you have your audience on Instagram, there is more chance that more people will see it because there is still talks that your video might be pushed on people's explore pages, even if you don't have tags, because it reads your description and kind of assumes the tags. However, on YouTube, if you're going to keep on putting actually videos without any tags, you're not going to get very, very, very far, especially that on YouTube, it's all about being searchable because it is a search engine and you need to rank on the tags to be successful. So that's, again, separate issue and separate thing. How would you actually be ranked on certain tags? But just basics. Yeah, this is one of the part of the process that you can use, and exactly what James just put there. You can use vidIQ, TubeBuddy, Ask the Public, and yeah, Ubersuggest as well. I would suggest as well Ubersuggest. So that's that, and then your video. Let's say it's ready. So what you're gonna do about it?
What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it?
We're gonna hustle. You're gonna hustle, my dear. Yeah, and how are you gonna hustle? Yeah, we're always hustling. You're gonna share it on social media, clearly. So you're gonna share it on whatever it was made for. Let's say you share it on Facebook, you share it on IGTV and so on. But you will probably put it on other places, like you're gonna share your IGTV on the stories, or maybe even you're going to mention your YouTube video in the stories and tell people to find your channel in the bio. You're going to make sure that you provide the links, you share the links. You might share it on your private pages if you want to. You might share it in groups if someone is asking about it. You can use it in the newsletter if you have one to distribute to people, to inform them that you have something new. There's plenty of ways to promote your video, and especially on Twitter, for example. Twitter is very good for promotion because tweets disappear like this. You can tweet something, same thing many times on different hashtags, and maybe each time you're going to get a visibility of 2, 3, 4, but it's not going to be that obvious that you're spamming with promotion. Of course, don't make your tweets only promoting, but you can promote quite heavily on Twitter, I would say, out of all the platforms. But yeah, share it with your friends, groups, everything. I, for example, found a big success being just a part of genuine conversations on forums and groups, because I found not only on certain subjects, people repeating this certain question. So it means that, okay, you can search in groups very often or on forums, but people don't like reading. They still ask questions on those groups. But they don't get an answer, and people like watching videos. So if someone asks a question that is within your niche and you're going to be like, hi, this, and that. If you want to see the full thing, watch my video, send the link. And that's it. Of course, not every platform and not every group allows that. But if it does, it's a great way, because you're answering someone's particular question. And also it's a great place as well, groups within your niche, to find the problems to even make a videos about. So I would definitely highly recommend that. James, did you want to add something there? Because you're nodding.
Yeah, no. Does that mean anything? Yes, no. I hate it when people say that when they start off and say yes, no. Which one's it going to be? Yes, I have got a question. I've got something to input into. Yeah, if you basically think of it just this way, if your primary target is going to be a video for, say, YouTube, don't just stop at YouTube being the platform of choice. Yeah, that's your target, but use social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to promote that video, and as well as LinkedIn as well. So use the capability of each of those social media features. So whether it's going to be you're going to promote, like we did do, say, like with this one, promote through a story on Instagram, promote through a story on Facebook, or we might have put a graphical post out on LinkedIn to say that we're going to go live with this particular video. What I'm saying is just, yes, you've got a target, but make sure you're also promoting out on the social media platforms as well. There is an interesting point though, and it kind of goes against actually what I've just kind of said there as well. Yes, promote, but also just think about, because some platforms are a little bit fickle in terms of they're a little bit fickle in terms of removing an audience off a certain social media platform. Okay, so you do sometimes, again, and this is where sometimes video production can be hard work. Okay, so you've got your video, you've got your target of choice. So your target of choice video is for YouTube. But you might be quite heavily involved in LinkedIn. And I'm going to pick on LinkedIn at a minute for a very, very good reason. LinkedIn is a social media platform predominantly for the B2B sector, business to business. Okay. Now, just going off my own experience or our experiences, we used to have videos going out on YouTube, and we used to use LinkedIn as a promotional tool to refer back to that video on YouTube, and do exactly the same thing for Twitter, promotion of a video that would refer back to YouTube, the YouTube video. Here's the thing, certainly with LinkedIn at the minute, LinkedIn want to keep your eyeballs on LinkedIn. They don't want LinkedIn don't want to promote their services as being a promoter. They want to keep you on LinkedIn as long as possible. So if your predominant platform is, in a sense, going to be YouTube, make sure you actually have that video that you can push up to LinkedIn natively. So don't refer it back to YouTube, even though you're not going to get your viewing figures on YouTube, but you're going to get your viewing figures on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn, from what I've read now, and this is going back from now to a couple of months ago, LinkedIn is as Facebook used to be back in 2012. The organic reach on it is absolutely fantastic at the minute. So don't, and this is just a big tip from a LinkedIn point of view, is push your videos up to LinkedIn. That's if you're a user of LinkedIn, but push up your videos to LinkedIn natively. Don't refer to YouTube or a Facebook video. Make sure you not repurpose it. That's kind of the wrong word.
Re-upload
it. Basically re-upload it. Push it up to LinkedIn natively, because you will see some really rich rewards from that. And really, from our point of view, our main platform really is LinkedIn. But we push it. I mean, we use a tool called StreamYard, which is a multi-streaming platform, and we push streams to Facebook, YouTube, etc. simultaneously. But really, because we're in a B2B market, our real our real push point, our plus point really is on the LinkedIn platform. But certainly, just remember, if you're going to put video in to LinkedIn, do it natively. There is an argument to say that you should do that for Facebook, because at the end of the day,
Yeah, I was going to say.
Because at the end of the day, social media platforms want as much eyeballs on their own platforms and not elsewhere, which means that there's monetization and adverts.
There we go, because that's what I wanted to add, that it's not only, of course, there is a fight for attention, and the longer you spend on the platform, the better it is for that platform. But the reason is being that then if you upload natively on that platform, they can put adverts on it and they can earn money from it, and eventually maybe you as well. Which, if you are going to grow your following, is good for you because you have extra stream of income, whatever amount it is. But also, of course, it's good for the platform. And they give you kind of this incentive as well to upload natively. Plus, not only incentive in the terms of you will be able to monetize yourself, but also we were going to give you more organic reach, which of course is more work, but I think myself that it's worth it. Just go natively, especially on LinkedIn, and especially that LinkedIn is being a little bit funny. That I know I said funny thing, but LinkedIn is a little bit funny.
No, it was something else. It was something else I thought you was going to say.
Okay.
Just go naked. I thought you was going to say not native.
Don't go naked. You're going to be banned. But especially if you're going to share, for example, the link from YouTube on LinkedIn, it completely messes up the thumbnail. So it makes because at least if you do it on Facebook, it takes the thumbnail in the same size. But it's been doing that for a while. That link, I don't know if they do it on purpose. But it actually makes thumbnail from YouTube look really weird. So it makes your page look unprofessional. So that's another thing on top of that. Plus, people cannot use subtitles if you don't upload natively on LinkedIn with subtitles. So that's another reason. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is time for you to start recording your videos. If you haven't yet, after what we've been talking to for last, years, make sure that you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn, please, because you will find a lot of fantastic content created for you by us. And we will, by us. Yeah, there you see? There's my accent again.
We should play, I don't know, something like a gatta bingo.
Oh no, like a drinking game. You mean like people should let us know in the comments if you want to do. You can drink tea. We don't mind, because
how many times does a gatta say a British word? I don't know. It's
both. Who's going to decide? Because sometimes it's on the verge,
Harry Potter.
Should it?
There's another
Harry Potter, or it's like I do water, or I can even do water now. Even I'm getting, and now because I mentioned that briefly that we're watching Peaky Blinders, I mean I'm gonna soon be able to have a little bit of a Birmingham, I don't know, slight accent. I don't know. Added to my accent portfolio.
Can you do a Birmingham accent now?
Not at all. Not even a little bit.
Can I even give it a go? Go and give it a go.
Listen. I know you do that all the time.
What?
I could probably repeat after you, but I can't do it myself.
Are you all right there, Regatta?
Was that Birmingham?
I think that was. I think so.
You see, it's difficult. Now I'm camera shy. Now, for me, I'm gonna tell our viewers one thing. If we have anybody from Poland watching now or on the replay, please confirm what I'm saying, because we don't have as many accents in Poland as they do in England. Being the whole Great Britain is completely even different story, and UK, but we don't have accents. Like I can literally, I'm from center of Poland, remember that information. You might need to use it the next few days. Follow us on Instagram. I'm from center of Poland, and I can meet someone from the north. I can meet someone from the south, from east, from west. And as long as we are all from the bigger city, most probably we're going to speak the same. And everybody in the news speaks the same. Everybody in the radio speaks the same. Or am I delusional and I just don't notice things? I don't know. But like when I watch British TV, there is people from all over the Scottish person speaking different accent or different accent from here or from there. And it's like, we don't have that. Sadly. That's why I decided to adopt all the accents from around the world, including Dutch, apparently.
I should get my mum on one of the lives and she can teach you Mancunian. I don't know if my mum's still watching, actually. Are you still watching?
I don't know. Maybe. Please let us know.
Just wait.
Shall we finish up then?
Yes.
Yes. So say goodbye, James, because I'm going to remove you now. Goodbye.
Oh, you're removing me now? Okay.
I'm removing you now.
Okay,
yes.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, James. Oh, sorry. I cut him off a little bit, but that's okay. So that was it. That was Coffee with Cruz. Coffee is finished. We are going live every Thursday, remember, at 6 p.m. London time. And here we help small and medium businesses to grow their social media presence. Through the power of all the social media platforms. So make sure that you stay tuned and we'll see you very soon. Bye.